So action 4 is the mark, and this is where a player will kick the ball in the air and hope that one of his teammates will catch the ball and mark the ball. It means that the play stops and they can move on forward. A bit like a mark in rugby union, but if you want to see it, then go and watch a game. There's loads and loads of marks in every game. So for this you need the black dice and the white dice, and the way this works is, let me just move this in. See, I can see enough players there. So you roll the black dice and the white dice, and it says, first of all, you look at this section. So you may need the blue dice. If you're in defence, you have to roll, and 1 to 3 will be a defender to a defender mark, so they're playing in the same zone. 4 to 6 will be defender to midfield. So let's say that Kennedy had the ball and we roll this and it's a 2, then let's make that a 4 because Kennedy's got the ball. Then he would be trying to kick the ball to Callum Mills, because they're both in defence. If that number is a 4, the white dice is a 4. If you get doubles, you roll that dice again until you get something that isn't. So 4 to 3, so it's going to be Kennedy to Dawson. And what you do is you take the kick rating of the person from the black dice, Kennedy 1, and you take the mark rating of the person that's going to receive the kick 2, add them together and you get 3, and then you roll the green dice, and if it's less than 3 then the mark is successful and they continue. If it's greater than 3 then it's a loose ball. But let's say it continued, then this is the end of the mark and you do a new action. But there is a rule change in place that would allow you to then say, well, I want to mark on, because in general in the game you'll see somebody kick a mark and then they can quickly kick it onto somebody else and get another mark. So defence to defence here, what I do is I will roll a dice, and if it's a 5 or a 6 then they're going to mark on. So if he rolls a 5, then Dawson has got the ball and he's going to mark into the next area, which is the midfield. So you only need to roll the white dice, which is a 3, and it can be the same because it's in a different section, and you do the same thing. 3 0 mark is a 3, so you roll that 2 and it's good. And again you could do the same thing. You could try and mark on into the forward section, so you've got a 2 against a 4, which is a 6, and you roll it and that would be a good mark. The thing to notice about a mark is a 1 is always a successful mark. So if you've got somebody who's got a 0 kick like Hewitt, and you've got someone that's got a 0 mark like Cunningham, if you roll a green dice 1, then it is successful regardless. Similarly, if you've got a kick rate of 3 like Dane Rampe, and you've got a mark rate of 4 giving you 7, and you roll the green dice and it is a 6, it is always a failed mark. If you get into the forward zone with a mark, you always get a kick at goal. If you get a mark in any other zone and you don't mark on, then you just move to the next action. So let's assume that the mark has failed. Let's say we're going from Lloyd to Rampy and it fails, so the ball is in the mid section now. You then roll the dice and it's a 1, so you're looking at the loose ball section here. 1 is 1%, 2 and 3 clear, 4, 5, 6 skill, and you take the area of the field you're in and you add them up, and if the number is greater than the opponent's count of that trait, then the team with the ball will keep the ball in the new zone. If it's less, then it will go over to the other team in that same zone. The only difference, of course, is if you're using the advanced challenge, you would roll to see if it was 1 to 4, 1 to 5, dependent on the number. And as you can see, if you're going from mid to forward, it's got a dot, and down at the bottom here it says if the mark is successful, kick at goal for mark taker. So if Rampy is kicking to Franklin and Franklin makes a successful mark, he automatically gets a kick at goal. And similarly, if you're in the forward zone, you're going to do a forward to forward mark, and it's the same as the defense mark, where if these two numbers are the same, you'd have to roll the white dice to get a different number, because you can't kick it to yourself. Although in theory you can, but you don't often see that. So that is the mark rule.